Hello once again, nerds! Today I'm going to share with you my reviews of 3 different books that come out later this month. First up is Listen to Your Heart by Casey West. It comes out May 29th. This is actually my first Casey West book. I've always been meaning to read one of hers and never gotten around to it. I gave Listen to Your Heart 4 stars. I wasn't sure at the beginning if I was going to be able to get into it because the first couple chapters, the main character who narrates the book in first person, I just wasn't really into her voice. It kind of annoyed me a little bit, and so I was a little bit worried. But then I got drawn into the romance and the drama and the story, and I stopped noticing as much, so the book actually went by pretty quickly. This book is about a girl named Kate whose family owns a marina at a lake, and she loves the lake. Kate's big dream in life is to take it over from her parents and run the marina as well. But her best friend convinces her to take a podcasting elective class at their school, and Kate ends up becoming one of the co-hosts of the podcast, kind of against her will. The podcast is an advice podcast, and there's this mystery caller who keeps calling in asking for advice about a girl he likes. And Kate is convinced that it is Diego, who her best friend has a crush on. But then Kate starts to develop a crush on Diego herself, but she isn't sure what to do about it, especially since Diego doesn't know that she knows that he's the caller. Like I said, this is a 4-star read for me. If you are looking for a cute, fluffy, summery romance book, or if you already like Casey West's other books, then it might be a good idea to pick this one up. But I definitely think that there are better contemporary romances out there that I would recommend above this one. Next up, Give Me Some Truth by Eric Gansworth. Once again, this is the first book by Eric Gansworth that I've read, and it's also, once again, a 4-star from me. This book is about a group of teens living in a fictional Native American reservation near Niagara Falls who are starting a rock band together for a Battle of the Bands competition. It focuses on 2 of the teens through first-person narrations. One of them is Carson, who is a little bit cocky and self-assured, and he's the one who started the band because he really wants to be a musician and move to New York City one day. The other narrator is Maggie, whose family has just moved back to the reservation, and she's getting used to being a part of the community when she's been gone for so long. Give Me Some Truth has a couple of elements that normally would have me put down a book without getting very far into it. The first of which is that it's set in the 80s but doesn't really feel like it needed to be set in the 80s and kind of more feels like it was just nostalgia for the author, which I'm typically not a fan of. The other thing is teenage girls dating guys who are twice their age, which is just really gross to me, and I really struggle reading it in books. And Maggie, one of the 2 POV characters in this, she's 15, and for most of the book she is pursuing a romantic relationship with a guy in his early 30s. So I really had a hard time with that. However, even though this book had 2 things that I'm usually very against in young adult books, I still read it pretty quickly. It took me just a few days, and I still really enjoyed the story. I did really enjoy the main plot of Carson trying to put this band together and Maggie trying to learn to find her place in the reservation community again, and the Battle of the Bands, and also some other stuff that's going on with racism in the community. There's this local diner where the owner is really racist against Native Americans. That whole plot line I enjoyed as well. So, like I said, even though I normally can't get past things like an adult teenage relationship, I was able to look past them for this book. So yeah, if you are looking for more Native American centered fiction, especially that is own voices, I would look into this book. He has another one out as well called If I Ever Get Out of Here. So Eric Gansworth, look him up for some good own voices, Native YA fiction. And this also comes out May 29th. I almost forgot to say that. So this and Listen to Your Heart, both May 29th. The very end of the month is when they come out. And my third book to review for you, I do not have a hard copy of, so I can't show it to you, but it is Furyborn by Clara Legrand. I'll put up a picture of the cover. This comes out May 22nd. It is a 4.75 star rating for me. It wasn't perfect, but I did really enjoy it, and I can't wait to find out what happens in the sequel and maybe even reread this one in a hard copy because I read it as like an ebook on my computer at the time. It is a fantasy novel about two young women living a century apart whose lives are intrinsically linked together. Riel has been keeping her magic a secret her whole life because she can control all of the elements where everyone else can only control one, but when her secret finally gets out, she has to go through a series of trials to determine whether she is the prophesied Sun Queen who will save everyone from the evil angels, or if she is the Blood Queen who will doom the whole world. 100 years later, Eliana lives in a world that looks very different because it is now ruled by the Undying Empire and there is no magic left. Her mother goes missing and she has to team up with a rebel named the Wolf to track her down, and she ends up learning a lot about herself and the power within her. I was just really excited going into this because of the concept of this novel. There's nothing really new in the magic system or in the world building, but this idea of two different women living 100 years apart and going back and forth between their stories and seeing how they connect was just a really cool idea for me, and Claire Legrand pulls it off very, very well. So yeah, I loved it. As I said earlier, I cannot wait to find out what happens in the sequel and where their stories continue to go. There were surprises. Some of them were more surprising to me than others. Yeah, it comes out May 22nd, and I think that you should definitely check it out if you are into fantasy novels with powerful young women at their centers. Anyway, that's it for today. Those are my book reviews. Let me know what books you are looking forward to this month, what you've read so far and really loved, and I will see you guys this Sunday at 7:30 p.m. Eastern Time for our live chat, just like always.